this.
Simply known as Miss Deb, Debra Antney is a force to be reckoned with, and I am so excited that she is sitting down with us today in the Jenleeion circle for this Mother's Day interview. There's a lot we can talk about, from motherhood all the way to things in the industry. She's become an industry mogul in the entertainment field, from television all the way to an upcoming movie experience. There's a lot to talk about. And first I'm going to start off by saying, Miss Deb, how you doing?
How you doing? I'm good, thank you.
I think I'm doing well. And first of all, I'm tickled to death because I've listened to you on TV. Obviously, appearances that you had on Love and Hip Hop and Growing Up Atlanta, etc. Your voice is obviously very distinct.
Oh God!
And what I thought I would have been blessed to have the opportunity to sit down with you, and here we are. There are a lot of things about you that I find extremely inspirational, right? And it's hard for me to find sources of inspiration these days. But you're bold, you're proud, and you are confident in who you are. But it took some climbing to get to where you are, right? So first, before I get into motherhood, I'd like to go all the way back, to start back at the beginning. You grew up in Queens.
Yes.
Take me there.
Whew. Where we going? Which side? Which event? Because there's so many chapters. Like, here's the thing with me. There's so many chapters. I'm not a kid anymore, but there's a lot of chapters to me. And we came up on the south side of Jamaica, Queens, and went over to the north side from there. My mom moved over there, so it's like, it's hard for me to talk about Queens because there's so many different parts. I don't know what part of Queens to talk about because there was multiple facets in my life. I was multiple people. So I lived many lives in Queens. Well, so which side?
Some of those lives, I guess, that were...
Some of them were good lives.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So one of the things we do celebrate here at Jenleeion all the time is tragedy to triumph, right? Those who overcome a lot, right? And the life that you're living now is one that you didn't think that you would be living when you were in Queens and growing up in Queens. What was your trajectory then? Where do you think you were headed in Queens with the turbulence that was around you?
I think where I was going then, either 6 feet under or behind bars for the rest of my life.
Can you tell us why?
Like, just where I was mentally. You know what I'm saying? I was a product of my environment. The environment in which I came up in, the environment in which I was living in. It was different. It wasn't how it is today. It was just all about survival. You didn't have the dreams of, you might have had the dreams of wanting to be all these different things, but even then, when I was younger, and this is why I'm telling you that I lived multiple sides of my life, the industry is something I was in because I did plays. Yeah. I was in, film, I modeled. There were still things that I did industry-wise, but it wasn't a plan that I had to really get into. This wasn't what I really wanted.
It wasn't where and in fact, you enjoyed school.
Yeah, I did. How do you know that? That's so crazy. My mom just said it to me today. You were supposed to be the teacher. Like, I used to love to be in her basement. I'd bust up her walls, and I was teaching down there, and I would just, oh my God. I've never said that to anybody. I've never, ever. My mom just said that to me today. I've never talked about... Wait, you just got me for a second. I've never told nobody that. I've never talked about stuff like that, but I wanted that. And everything because it was about children. I love children.
Yeah.
I love kids. I love kids, and I love special needs kids. Like, that was really, really... Oh my God, that is so deep. I've never talked about that. Yeah. And my mother literally said that to me today. You were supposed to be the teacher. But that wasn't what I wanted. And even though, and it's so crazy because in the industry, one of the things that people don't understand and they become so angry with me about is I'm always teaching them.
Yeah.
You know, even when they want to just run out and do something the way that they want to do it or the way they think it's supposed to be done, I want to teach you how this is supposed to be done.
Yeah.
And it's in layman terminology. I'm going to meet you right where you are, but you're going to learn this. And also with that mother side still in me, because I've been like that since a kid. You know, I've always taken care of everybody. That was always something, thank you, that was always something that I did. Like, I took care of everybody.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that's one of the things that I sense about you. And I think, you know, even with some of the turbulence in your life that you have talked about, you know, I find it inspiring to be able to ascertain that school was always a sense of escapism for you. No matter what was going on around you, you made sure that you were a study.
Yo, that's so crazy. You know, I would disappear. Like, people never knew I was going to school. And although my mom, like, there was no money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I knew that there was more things that I wanted. It was things that I wanted to learn. And I knew I didn't want to be her. And I always knew that I wanted children. It's so crazy. I didn't want a husband, but I wanted children because I didn't have anybody to look up to with that, you know? But I wanted kids. And that was a big thing. And I knew that what I was doing at that time would not last forever.
Yeah.
And there was things that I needed to know. I had to know. But I would disappear. No matter what, I would disappear. Even when I ran away from home as a kid and I left home, I went to school. Even if I had to go to Macy's, it wasn't Macy's, it was Mays. And I would go upstairs to Mays and go to the bathroom and pull an outfit and go into the bathroom and change my clothes and go to school. I was fly every day, going to school with a new outfit on. But I went to school.
Wow.
Like, I always went to school, and that was something that people didn't know about me. And although I ended up having to take my GED and not graduating because of when I was locked up, I was in Sparford, and they kind of lost my records. And then I had a fight, and they said, well, you got to go to January. You got to stay until January, and you're not going to be able to walk. And I was pissed. Like, what do you mean I'm not going to walk? And I left. I just left. And like right after that, I just went over to Hillcrest and I took my GED. It was like done.
Yeah.
But I knew I wanted more, and we didn't have the money. But I wanted to do social service. Like, that was the biggest thing that I wanted. And I had to take all these routes to go, and I got my CSAC, like my condition of substance abuse and alcoholism. I definitely wanted to go to school for that because I needed to know who I was.
Yeah.
You know, because I grew up in a family of nothing but alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
And I needed to know who was I. And that was big for me. And then acupuncture and all these steps that I went in to take psych classes, like just little things, but it was really about me.
It's really about you.
It was about me. I needed to know who I was. I didn't even know my identity. I was experiencing problems as far as my nationality. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of things with me that was very, very confusing. It was very confusing then.
Now, a lot of your story resonates with me. You know, I'm one of 9 children. Growing up in a family of alcoholism and drugs, and that statement of you didn't want to be your mother, I didn't want to be my father, right? And school, we were destitute, we didn't have money, we were poor, there was abuse around us, we were abused. But school, as you know, and I feel like my blindness saved me in a lot of ways, but school was my escapism, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why that definitely resonates with me. And you talk about social work and social services. I ended up adopting 4 kids for all of the reasons that you're talking about, right? And hoping that I'd become a good parent because I would be the opposite of everything my father was.
But in my case, my mother was not a mother of abuse. Mm-hmm. My mother didn't drink, smoke, party. My mother didn't do any of that. All my mother knew how to do was a mother and a wife, but there was ignorance there.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, there was tons of ignorance. My mama didn't know. My mama learned everything from us. She didn't even know. It's like when I OD'd at 9, I never forget when my mom yelled to my father, him and my uncle was up there, and she said, James, what is that up there on that table up there? It was in the attic. And he said, Millie, what's wrong with you? That's baby powder. She said, oh. My mother didn't know. So when my dad said that it was baby powder, me and my cousin went upstairs. I'm putting it all over my body, not knowing that it was pure heroin.
Yeah.
But my mom did not know. Like, she had such ignorance to it. And although, like, my uncles used to put methadone in our refrigerator, like, we had the little bottles in there. That's why I don't drink orange soda or Sunny Delight. I hate Sunny Delight. I don't drink that because that's what it reminds me of, methadone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the experience that I had, and at that time, you didn't have, even though you had social services coming out because we was on welfare, you know what I'm saying? And we had to hide. Like, I was in that time where we had to hide. We had to hide stuff, you know what I'm saying, in the house.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you didn't have people coming in your house seeing what was going on because whatever went on in your house stayed in your house.
Yeah.
You could not go out and tell the stuff that was going on inside of that house. But the one thing, from 1969 to this day, my mother is still in that house. You understand what I'm saying? She didn't have the best job. She didn't have the best anything, but she kept it going for us. She made sure we had a roof over our head.
She could. Wow.
It was times we didn't have heat. We didn't have hot water. I used to bust the trains down. In Queens, I used to break into trains and get like cases of cereal, but I would give it to the neighborhood.
Wow.
Even when in my time I boosted. But I never sold clothes. I never sold anything. I gave it to the neighborhood. It's like whatever I had, I gave it to them. Like, I made sure people got that I was just giving to them. So it was never done for me to come up or to make money off of this stuff. Like the things that I did, and I did a lot of wrong.
Yeah.
I did a lot of wrong. You know, and not bragging or boasting about any of this stuff, but I'm grateful to God that I'm here. And also for everything that I went through in my life, he prepared me for what I'm going through today.
What you're going through today, that's powerful. After what seemed like several lifetimes in New York, Miss Deb made a pact with God before she decided to move to Georgia. Mm-hmm. Before we get to the life in Georgia, you're leaving the precinct, or you're in a situation where you're facing lockup. You speak to God. Take us to what was going on at that time that got you there, and that pact that you made to God. If you get me out of this, I'll be better.
I'll never forget that. When they took me, I don't go to Kennedy Airport to this day. Oh, shit. I remember I was looking out the window I was in Rikers Island, and I was looking at the Grand Central. And I'll never forget this night, and I said to God, if you get me out of this, I promise you I'll never come back through here again. I promise you I'll change. Now, I told a little fib a little bit, a little something, but I changed. I did slow down and I changed, and I knew jail wasn't for me. That was not some place, and I was throwing bricks at the penitentiary. I mean bricks, not a rock, but boulders.
Yeah.
I was hitting the penitentiary with. And God was good to me. He showed me this time, because each time I ever went, I never went, like after Central Booking, I was out. You know what I'm saying? So it never really mattered. But this time when I was remanded over, and it's like, you going down this trip.
Well, Rikers Island, I asked this following question to you very respectfully. Mm-hmm. You had an incident where you took 4 bullets from a .350.
Oh, yeah.
How far after that incident was this wake-up call with God? Because I asked that to say, did a wake-up call also come after that incident with taking 4 bullets? Or were you still finding yourself and you ended up at Rikers Island?
Let me see. Did that happen already?
Or was that a second wake-up call?
The 4 bullets, damn, was that before or after? Because I told you I still had, because I have such a blockage with that whole incident.
I see.
And no. I don't think it was. I don't think, no, it wasn't. Because I think then another time in Queens Boulevard with the judge, I had a fight on the stand with the judge, and I think it was 2 more, and then that's when things was like, I said, I got to do better.
Yeah.
You know, I had a son, my son Rara, the first one, my first son, my 10-year-old son that passed away. He looked at me and he asked me, he said, Debbie, do you have eyes? And I said, what? He said, do you have eyes? And I said, yeah, I got eyes, boy. He said, don't you see how you hurting us? My son said that to me. I never forget that day. I ran out my mother's house. I was running down the house. I was crying so bad. I couldn't believe that I had disappointed my children, and they were starting to figure out some things that was going on, because I hid a lot of things from them. They were sheltered from a lot of stuff.
And here they're saying,
and here,
what are you doing?
He was so intelligent. That boy was, he was sharp as I don't know what. I don't know.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, with him, who was worse, him or Walker with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, very inquisitive and watched everything. And Rara admired the hell out of me. Like, I was just everything to him. But at this time, and this is what really straightened up everything, to be real with you, is that's what really did it, was him.
Yeah.
It was Rara. And when I really got locked up, I told my mom that I was going to Dr. Ellaby's, which was a pharmacy on Farmers, and I was supposed to be going down there to get some, I think I was going to get some vitamins or whatever that stuff is to help you gain weight or whatever, because I was really like always slim, real slim. And I told her I'll be right back. I was going down there to the store, but not knowing that I was going to the airport to jump on a plane to go to Jamaica. And it was my second run within that week, and a couple of days apart from each other. And the call I called in is I was locked up. So that was that time. So now, of course, everybody running their mouth, and my kids get to hear stuff, you know?
Why were you running?
I was running down the street because of what he said to me. I was destroyed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, one thing, I respect my sons so much. It's like, I can't explain to you, I respect the crap out of them.
You were running from confronting the pain.
Yeah.
Or confronting the facts.
Yeah, the facts of what was going on.
Yeah.
That this kid seen this, and he hurt me by what he said, and he had a tear roll down his eye, and I hurt my child. Like, I hurt him. That wasn't something that was supposed to be going on.
How much disappointment did you carry with yourself in finding out that you hurt your child, and then what could be seen further hurt by running away? Or did you eventually?
No, I came back. I just needed to get away. Because there was so many things going on. There was like tons and tons of things that was going on with me. It's like I was fighting with myself. Like, who I was out there wasn't the same person that was inside.
Yeah.
And sometimes I didn't even understand why I was doing some of the things that I was doing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, even with me going to school, me learning who I was, like trying to learn exactly who I am. But it was like on both sides of the family. This stuff was in my DNA.
And then headed to the South. You head to the South, and you're headed to what's going to be the new you, even though you didn't know what that new you was specifically going to be. So you land in Georgia, and you start job hopping, if you will. Take us to those initial days of coming to Atlanta.
I sat down one day. I was working for BCW at that time in New York, and I got paid, and now I'm living a real life, making money off of a job. And I paid all my bills, and my check was gone. And I was like, what the hell? Like, all my money was gone.
This is what being an adult is about.
Like,
yeah.
And I called my sister, Jamie, and I said, I'm out of here. She said, yeah, right. You ain't going nowhere. I said, I'm coming to Georgia. She said, yeah, right. So the travel agent that I had under the building that I lived in on Queens Boulevard at that time, but I was on Cambridge Heights at this time, and I called the travel agent and I told her I need a ticket to Georgia. And she said, okay. She said, when you coming back, Deb? I said, I need a one-way ticket. And she said, you doing one way, or you just going to get another, you'll call me when you want to come back? I said, I'm not coming back. And she started laughing. And I packed a couple of suitcases, and I called my sister, and she said, where you at? I was in the airport here in Georgia. So I didn't really know, because when I came here, they didn't call things the Bureau of Child Welfare here. So it was different, me trying to find a job, trying to see what I wanted to do. Then they started talking about acupuncture. Michael Smith trained me. So I was trained by the man that brought acupuncture to America, which is Michael Smith. And I graduated top of my class. Wow. So I wanted to do that. But here in Georgia, you needed doctors to be up underneath in order to do it. It was a little bit different from how it was there.
Needles and people.
It's
I've
okay.
had that done once. It was interesting.
But it actually works.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I did detox, like acupuncture detox for detoxification and weight loss and all the other kind of good stuff, whatever. So I just started hanging out with my aunt and helping her. She was working over there with, with HIV and AIDS and all that. And, I know all of that. So I started there. So one day we went into a store called McFugel's on Kempton Road. And it was a desk there, and I've never seen stuff like that for people applying for a job the way that it was here. And I said, what is that? They said, applying for a job. I said, I'm applying for this job right here, being funny. So I went to the girl and I said, well, where's your boss at? So when I went to him, he looked, he said, oh, I can't pay you this kind of money. I said, well, how much you can pay me? He said, well, you don't want this. It's $5.25. I said, I'll take it. When do I start? He said, oh, you can start today. I said, I can't start today. I ain't taking no bath today. I just came up here with my aunt to help. It was so funny. So he said, well, come back the next day. So $5.25 there. Then Cub Foods, I went and I'll never forget, I called Della in New York. I said, say I worked at the store there doing meat packing or whatever it was at that time. And she said, okay, I'll put that down on the application. I got the job at Cub Foods. That's $15.25. That's how I looked at it. Okay, I was breaking it up. Okay, I'm making $15.25, so that's something. But it was so cheap here, like nothing cost anything here. And from that day, it was history. And I met a lady in there that introduced me to somebody else that got me into Fulton County, and I went to Fulton County DFACS here in Georgia. And the rest was just history.
And the story in Fulton County actually brought you to a chance experience that led you down the path of artist management, although that's not what you were looking for. Take me to the story of how community service led to management of Gucci Mane.
Yeah. Gucci had just came out, and I was doing a lot of community service anyway, because that's major for me. Community service is really, really big for me. I love community service, and that was with Ludacris. That's how I teamed up with Chris, with Ludacris at that time. But at that time, he was Chris Lover, him and Poon Daddy, so it wasn't Ludacris, then. But I was known here in Georgia, like everybody loved me because of the stuff that I was doing within the communities and all the kids that I was working with. And I also have children that I've gotten out of there too. I got my daughters from there. And I got a phone call from someone that asked me if I could help them, and Gucci needed community service. And I was like, okay, he could come to the shelter with the kids and, little different things like that, and I would help him. And that's how it started with me and him. But I said that I wasn't going to do nothing in this music industry when I came here to Georgia. I didn't want nothing to do with the industry because I had enough of that in New York. And I didn't want nothing to do with it here. I want to live a normal life. I want to see what it felt like to live a normal life. That's what I came here for.
And now that's obviously with television and several artists under your belt now. You say, I don't want to be in the industry, but you're teeth deep in, obviously, at this point. And with that being said, your son, Waka Flocka, when did you know that he had talent?
Oh, I've always known he had talent. It wasn't about this music industry. Waka was supposed to be a ball player. Like, that's what he played. He played ball. He's being scouted for ball. I knew Waka was destined to be something because, he had many talents, and it was things that he really wanted to do. But see, Waka was not the first child that was rapping. It was my other son. It was Wu.
Wow.
He was the one that was a rapper. Waka jumped into rapping because Gucci kept going to jail, and I needed help. Gucci was going to jail. Juice got shot. Everything was like crumbling down. Nicki was on her way out. Like it was just, everything was crumbling. And all from Gucci. So everybody was just sick of it. They was just tired. And everything just started crumbling. And that's when he came in to take my back and to help to keep things pushing on.
Wow. And so to that end, as a mother, we talked about your son earlier who passed.
I had two sons.
You're younger, and then You also have your son KO that passed as well. And after that, you devoted your life, part of your life, to suicide prevention and anti-bullying. Take me there.
Bullying my mom was here now, she would just have a fit. That was one of the biggest things that made me fight in school. I can't stand a bully. I do not like.
You would fight the bully that would try to bully you, or you would stand up for
no,
others?
I didn't. I'm not trying to be funny. I ain't trying to be funny. I ain't Muhammad Ali, but I ain't go through that. Like that's the one thing
you
that
were bullied?
no. I didn't go.
But that's not anything you would fight for others.
Yeah.
Or stand
like
up
if I would come in and see somebody I hate to see people deal with the weak. I can't stand that. I don't like them. You know, that's why when people was coming at me, and you know, the industry tried to bully me, but because I'm so secure with who I am, you're not coming at me with no crap, and you're not scaring me.
It angers me to see others bully.
Yeah, I don't like seeing stuff like that, and that was a big part of why I stayed in trouble in school. I don't like people like preying on the weak or people that have issues or whatever is going on with them, and you want to just bully them and push on them and just do stuff. You know, that's why all this internet stuff irritates me, and what they do to people on the internet and how they slander people and how easy it is for a person to put a word up there and somebody to twist that word up and make it into something that's not there. Or people could see people 5 minutes even on a TV screen and they know everything about you. They can tell you everything about yourself. Like even for me, I had people argue with me about me.
You know, I was on a TV show 10 years ago called The Glee Project, and that was on the Oxygen Network. And, you know, my sister told me not to read it, but when I read those comments, I'm like, they don't know me. That's not true. It drive me crazy.
Yeah, I went through that. I went through that in the beginning.
Yeah, totally.
In the beginning, I went through that. I remember when I first went through that, and the most worst part of it all, that I was so hurt when everybody, like, they tried to do the impossible. Like, the one thing that I've always seen in the industry is that the first thing that an artist say about people or people say about other people is that they're thieves. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was the part that hurted me so bad. And for a person to make up a rumor, and that's the first thing that you could say, and everybody ran with it, and everybody just know, well, you need to get this person back their money, or why did you take this from that person? And it's like, are you serious?
You're believing an edit or a comment, and you don't really know me.
You don't even know me, or somebody writing about me in a magazine, making up all these stories about me and putting this stuff in. And that's a person from the industry that had another person out here that's supposed to be a journalist that's writing when you go under oath as a journalist. Okay, so you're not supposed to write these things out about people or the lies that you tell. And people could tell one story. I could go right now and do a story on somebody and lie and say this stuff about, and everybody gonna run with it because they think it's the truth. And people like to hear the negative. So when I started walking down the street, it started feeling like everybody was staring at me. And everybody was looking, and I could hear the whispers like, here she comes, there she go, because of the stories that people was telling. How do you do that? Like, how do you just sit here and tell stories and lies and everybody believe these things? So the bullying part on the internet became very big for me because it was something I overcame with the stories and stuff that they told. Like, I don't care what you say about me now today. I know who I am.
Yeah.
I know who I am. Let's go in the forum and prove that I did this. And let me prove what was done to me. You understand? And let's show facts. Let's come up with facts. They don't even have facts. And they slander people and take people's lives all the time. That understanding what they're doing to people and how they're destroying people's lives and the things that they say is disgusting.
Yes, yeah, and I believe it's absolutely disgusting. If you or anyone you know is suffering with bullying issues or needs help with depression, please dial 988 on your phone. Here at Jenleeion, that's something that we deal with all the time is a campaign with anti-bullying where we have the mantra, I am human too, right?
And that's big. And suicide. You know, when I got on Love and Hip Hop, I'm sorry.
No,
when I got on Love and Hip Hop, and I'm grateful to VH1 for allowing me to have that platform to speak about suicide. because everybody was against it. They kept saying, no, don't do that. Don't talk about that. And I guess that it was coming from a perspective of black, coming from our community. It's the stigmas of the black person, like, no, they don't talk about stuff like that. But I wanted people to know, and I wanted every kid out there to see what I was going through. And Snoop was going through that, like the color of his skin, because of his color, his eye color, his hair color. Like people say, I dyed his hair. I didn't dye his hair. You know what I'm saying? He had orange color hair. That was the color of his hair. He had freckles. He was light. He was, the things that he was going through. And it's like, when we came to Georgia, he went through it. Because these kids, it was kind of weird for them. You understand what I'm saying? So totally. He kind of went through some bullying stages when he was younger. But I'm not going through that. I don't care who you are. I'm not dealing with no stuff like that. And I don't like to see bullying. I can't stand that when people do that to people. Like you can't pick on people. You just can't do stuff like that. And I find you to be the weakest person ever, the biggest coward ever, to just pick on people. Or to get pleasure out of treating somebody else less than. Yeah, that's something that, that speaks volumes of you, of who you are and where you come from. And it is true that hurt people. Yeah. Now, there are some things that I talked about with you briefly off camera regarding mothers in the industry, etc., and even the prevalence of urinary tract infections. There are a lot of things that are important to you to talk about from an industrial perspective. Take me there. Here, all these years later, we came back and they gave us a platform that we screamed and hollered about that was taken away from us. And year after year, you'll watch one man after the other come out. They'll yell about Nicki Minaj and they'll say all these things about Nicki, but I don't think people understood what she went through to get to where she's at today. Okay? As a matter of fact, we interviewed her mother. Her mother was in the Jenleeion circle as you are. But go ahead. Yeah. And they don't know what she went through, but she wanted this. Nothing stopped her from doing what she wanted to do. And everything that she got going on, she deserved it. And she knows how to discipline herself, regardless of whatever they say. I hate the fact that the industry put women up against each other, because there is no Nicki Minaj. There will never be another Nicki Minaj. But there will be another Jane Doe, and whoever it is that you are. Every girl that's out there are sitting in they're on their own platform. There's no girl out there that's like the other girl. And I hate that they put these women up against each other to make them fight, but yet every woman out here, damn near to me, have a urinary tract infection. Every woman. I'm so tired of hearing all the squirting, I'm trying to figure out, where did all of this come from? Why in this generation is all of this stuff so new? Why? And why does every woman get the same pleasure? Every woman gets the same pleasure by every man that they're with. That's a lie. You don't get pleasure out of everybody that you with. If you have multiple partners, you feel the same for everybody. I'm tired of hearing about how juicy you are, how wet. This is not happening. This is not real. And it's disrespectful. I have a 9-year-old niece that's coming up in this business, and she's doing damn good. I don't want her coming up like that. I don't want her to think that that's who she's supposed to be. But you want somebody to give you respect when you don't respect yourself. I'm not saying that it's okay for a man to disrespect a woman and to say what they want to say to you, but you first got to give it in order to get it. So what would Mama Deb say to those younger women? Keep your legs closed and your pocketbooks open and get to this money. That's what you need to do. They need some discipline. That is the stuff that they need. They have no leaders. They have nobody to look up to. Even the older heads that are there, the OGs that was in there, they're too busy worrying about being an OG now. They don't want to be an OG. You understand? I love being Miss Deb. I love being Mama. I love being Auntie. I love that. That's honoring to me. But I think they need teachers, and I think that there's more people that need training in management. Don't worry about the money. It's more than the money. You gotta want, when I did that, when I took every person that I took on, it was honoring for me to take them. I was honored by that. Yeah. That you put your life in my hands. You thought enough about me that you put your life in my hands. I don't regret not one thing with not one of them. It's honoring, and I taught them well because I see it today. Yeah. I see it today. And every day that I see, even with Nikki, I'm proud of her. Because everything that she says, I know the real untold stories. Yeah. Okay? I know what she went through. I know what really happened in all these times. Not these stories that everybody hear. I know what was going on. I know what she was mentally. I know her struggles, her trials, her tribulations, all of that. I know it. And I watched her overcome lots of things. Wow. But always let her know that this is just beginning.
Just the beginning.
It's more that comes with this, because see, when you become popular, when you become this way, there's other things that go on. But one thing that they have to understand, when you become a mother, you have to understand that you're not just responsible for you no more. And even to the women that have daughters, is this how you want your daughter to be? Is this what you teaching her to be? You want her to be like this? That's not cool.
So since what it is to be a lady has somewhat been lost by what Hollywood perpetuates, to you, what is being a lady?
It ain't running around here talking about how wet my shit is, or who I got to suck and everything else, and we ain't talking about lollipops. That's not it. Like, the one thing that I want them to curb is whatever goes on in your bedroom, stay in your bedroom. What goes on in your household stays in your household. Also, these women got to respect our men. They don't even respect them. They don't know how to cook. They can't clean. They don't know how to do nothing except lay on a table, get some butt injections, suck up the stomach, get that together, enhance their breasts and their everything. What happens after that? After you throw your legs up, you're not hungry? You don't want something to eat? Oh, I forgot. Let's call Uber Eats. We, as even the older women, need to come together to take some of these other girls up under our wing and start teaching them and showing them difference. Showing, like, when I was a kid, we had tea parties, real tea parties. We was taught etiquette. I had to learn how to sit at a table. There was things that I had to learn as a young girl. Where is that? Do they have Girl Scouts anymore?
Yeah, they do, but is the participation the same? You have is the participation the same far past Thin Mints, which I love?
Yeah, but the participation is in you having your little girl on the internet shaking and humping. That's cute. That the mother and the daughter is doing the same thing. You don't know who's the mother and who's the daughter. And then they got the little ones humping. That's not cute. No. Or the little ones doing drill. That's not cute. What are you teaching them? There's things that are going on out here that has never happened before. In my time when I came up, the one thing, women, children, and the elderly are the things you don't touch. Yeah. Now look at what's going on. Babies are dying. All the things that are happening now because we are not responsible as parents. Yeah. We don't know how to be a mother anymore. Where did our mothers go? Where did they go?
Where did our mothers go? That's powerful.
Yeah, where did they go? Did you lose sight of who you really are? Do you not understand that I love being a mother? I hate that my kids are overgrown, and I don't care if people want to say that they mama's boys. I love my children. I love being a mother. I don't not want to be a mother. I want 100,000. I got a cousin that I can't stand her. She got so many grandkids. That's supposed to be me. I'm supposed to. I love children. I built my world around my children being able to take care of my kids, even through my bad times. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame that on them. But I wanted my kids. I wanted my children for me. My children weren't a check for a man. Today, kids are checks for a man.
Yeah. And I tell you, your passion with that it's refreshing. Right, especially for me as a person who grew up without a mother, because I had to because of fate. My mother died when I was 5 months old. That resonates with me, to see someone that yearns so desperately for the position of motherhood. And with that, I ask you this before we close. As a mother, what are you most proud of? Despite all the difficult circumstance and what have you, if you were to find a culminating or able to find peace, what are you most proud of?
I'm very happy that God blessed me with the children that I have in my life. The ones I birthed and the ones that I didn't birth. I'm grateful to God for that. I'm grateful for the experiences that I've got to have. I'm honored that I was chosen. That I was the chosen one. In spite of all the things that I've been through, in spite of everything it is that I went through, there is still so many that look up to me still as that mother. And I'm there for them. I'm still there for them. And I'm grateful that he spared my life. That he gave me another shot. You understand what I'm saying? Absolutely. I just went through a near-death experience, like with COVID. I was in a coma for a while. They counted me out. But in that fight, while I was under, he sent me back here because there was things that needed to be done. I didn't even want to come back in this industry to do anything. But I have to come back in. There are people out there that still need help. And guess what? I'm the chosen one. And I accept that assignment. I accept it.
I think that's wonderful. And if I might be so bold to say, I think there's a lot that even I can learn from you. So I would hope that I'd be able to stay in contact with you, because this has been a very enlightening conversation. So I would appreciate that. And
it's done. It's like it's done, and not just through camera or just saying it there, but it's done. I love people. I love being a parent. I love it. I cannot tell you how much I love being a parent. Like, I know that I need to let them have their own life, and I don't interfere with their stuff.
Yeah.
But I love being a parent. I'm still cooking on Sunday. Yeah, I'm cooking on Sunday. Even the artists that I have, I keep saying every time, I'm not dealing with no more artists. I'm not dealing with no more artists. I'm not dealing with more. And then I get them, but I want to teach them. I want everybody that I meet, I could meet a strange person, have a conversation, and I'm getting on them, and I'm scolding them, and I'm telling them that this is what you have to do, and this is what you need to do for yourself, and this is, but it's who I am. I don't mean you any harm. I can't help that my voice is raspy. I do talk loud. I hate that. I want to go to vocal training because I didn't even realize that. I'm not even deaf.
That authenticity is what plays to the talents and the things that you've been able to do.
I know, but sometimes I want to, because people take offense to it, and I get offended when you get offended because you think I'm doing something or being nasty when I'm not.
You're from New York. You're from Queens, New York, right? So you can't help but be natural tongue.
I know, but half of my life I'm here now. I think I'm an apple peach. I say now that I am now an apple peach, and I love Georgia. As a blind
man, I can visualize what that might look like.
But it's good. Like, let me explain something to you. Yeah. Georgia raised me. When I tell you that it made me a responsible adult, it's not that I've never paid bills or anything like that, but I did it through all my slick ways. And you understand what I'm saying? It's like the get over, because that's what New York is all about. But I learned here, don't pay your rent. So you don't pay your rent in New York, you go there, you go to court, you get jiggets, and they pay half your rent for you. It's like all the stuff that go on there. Here, don't pay your rent. And I remember the first time I rode, I was like, what is that? The lady was sitting out there sick as I don't know what. I was crying. I felt so bad for this woman. But they put out because she didn't pay her rent. But they don't do that in New York. You bring a kid to the door with you, they can't cut your lights off, they can't cut your gas off, they can't cut your water off. Come to Georgia, don't pay your bill. Watch what's going to happen. Don't pay your rent. Watch what's going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? It's like they're coming, and incidentally, don't come no more because we're full. Yeah. It takes forever to get to where you have to go.
Yeah. What's next, Miss Deb?
So next, I have a movie that's coming up. I'm very proud to say that I did a partnership with Jamie Foxx. Ooh. His production, which is I'm so excited about that one. Of course, like I just said, my niece, working with my niece, and She's very, very talented. She just got her first Toyota commercial. That's like phenomenal. But she did her first show on BT, Scary Movie. She's been doing good. She's 9 years old. Wrap her little behind off, okay?
Is your niece is in the Scary Movie that we just put on BET?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's in that. And I love her to death. So it's like, I have to take her under because she's like, Auntie, I need help. Like, I have to, if I could do these other ones. Of course, the lecturer is still around and getting a lecture to where she, she has to go to. And, and Honeybee and Destiny. So the three girls, I love girls. But I'm learning that I don't even understand why I love girls so much. But my biggest thing is boys. Yeah. Like, the love that I love giving them because they need it. And I don't think that a lot of people understand that there's a lot of males that go through far more things than we go through. Yeah, yeah. And they need that. There's lots of issues there for them. So Ms. Deb got a lot of little things. Like, I got, my son is moving. He has, this music studio. Walker's doing super great. I'm happy. Wu was in LA doing his thing. And I'm happy, and this year I'm about to be really, really blessed. Really? Yes, I have new ones coming into the family this year. I have 3 new ones about to come into the family. So I'm being blessed, and I'm happy as far as that go. And I wake up every morning, so that's enough.
That's enough. I wake up every morning and that's enough. Well, thank you so much for being able to celebrate Mother's Day with us in 2023. This has been a delight for me, right? My head is in several different directions right now because I've been so blessed by this conversation, your rawness and how real you are. And like I said, you're very inspirational. And I am excited to get to know you more. Please check out Jenleeion.com and our social media platforms where you can see the stunning photos that Ms. Deb took as she graciously decided to grace our cover. Tell everyone where they can follow you if they don't already know.
Okay, so that's Debra Formizay. That's Debra, the number 4, Mizay. That's on everything.
Thank you. With Jenleeion Magazine and Jenleeion Circle, I'm Mario Bonds. Goodbye, everybody.
Does anyone still believe in paradise?